or dare. Perhaps you played that game as I did, as a seventh grader hosting a slumber party in the upstairs bedroom I shared with my sister Madeline. I invited my overnight guests to choose between performing a dare that could be as simple and silly as running outside barefoot in the snow, or telling a personal truth that could be as terrifying as confessing to a secret crush. But this is not just an adolescent pastime. Truth is a dare. The act of owning your truth involves bravely facing your history in all its messy and inconvenient intricacies of what has happened to you and what you have done to others. Even if you name flaws as simple as birthmarks, complications as deep as trauma, or joyful successes, truth is a dare. When you own your truth, you open up the possibilities to redeem its healing power and celebrate its clarity. But most importantly, when you own your truth, it's impossible to tolerate and be indifferent to the lies of others. You cannot abide a culture that worships false facts. Yes, owning your truth can change how people treat you and how you move throughout the world. It can force accountability for mistakes you have made, culpability for failures you have caused. You can feel comfortable in your own skin, perhaps for the first time. Acknowledging the shimmering blessings of your life, you model for others and demonstrate the power of honesty. But yes, owning your truth can end relationships. It can change your professional status and have legal implications. I know this firsthand. I've been a journalist for newspapers, magazines, and digital outlets for more than 4 decades, diligently telling the truths and stories of others with a strict adherence to the ethics of accuracy. And yet, for a time, I dared not tell the truth of what happened in my own home. For nearly 10 years, I was married to a man who was cyclically violent, verbally, emotionally, physically. Yet I dared not reveal that my life was not perfect. Held hostage by his unpredictability, I became a secret keeper. The truth is, my charming, handsome husband and father of my 3 small children at times terrified me. I refused to say my life was not as it seemed in the holiday cards. But there came a tipping point. After an episode at his parents' summer home, I filed for an emergency order of protection and divorce soon followed. I was so afraid of what the future held for me and my 3 young boys, but I felt released from a prison of deceit. I no longer had to explain why my hands involuntarily trembled when he entered a room. After he was gone from our home, I felt safe. For the next 3 years, in stolen moments, I wrote the truth to myself in a memoir called I Closed My Eyes. It's a truth about living in an abusive relationship. It's a truth 1 in 3 women in this country share. Every 9 seconds in the US, a woman is abused by an intimate partner. Survivors look like me, like you, like your cousins, your colleagues, your bosses, your favorite celebrity chef. After that book was published in 1999, my life changed, personally and professionally. When it was published, it was translated into 7 languages and still sells today. It led me to publish 6 more books. The 7th is out next year. I've received tens of thousands of emails and letters from people all over the world thanking me for sharing my truth, eager to share theirs. I serve on the advisory boards of 2 nonprofits dedicated to the mission of preventing and eradicating domestic violence. A woman I did not know came up to me at a book signing once and said she used to say to herself, if Michele Weldon can leave, so can I. And so she did. In 2002, I was incredibly lucky to be on the Oprah Winfrey Show talking about that book and a second book, Writing to Save Your Life, about the cathartic and healing properties of writing and sharing your truth. Many of my Northwestern universities saw that episode, and students who were not in my classes asked to speak with me privately to seek advice for themselves, their roommates, their moms. I helped more than a few obtain orders of protection. Sharing that truth changed me personally. When you no longer need to hide, the world expects you to live honestly, and you expect honesty from the world. But truth is too big a dare for many. Congressman George Santos, Theranos creator Elizabeth Holmes, convicted murderer Alex Murdaugh, imaginary heiress Anna Delvey, crypto thief Sam Bankman-Fried. Do I need to keep going? They change who they are and what they have done for fame, financial gain, or to try to avoid prison. Throughout history, many have denied accountability to truth. Murderers, oligarchs, Nazi soldiers, slaveholders. The collective impact of these lies is that when we render truth optional, we as a species are doomed. That is because lies inevitably leak and contaminate everyone and everything around them just as assuredly and swiftly as dark ink stains a pool of clear, still water. You cannot discern where lies end and truth begins. Eradicating cultural dishonesty begins with each one of us owning our truth. We live in a culture where incomprehensible lies are spread every minute on media platforms. Lies about COVID and climate change, elections, voting, lies that all immigrants are criminals, lies that learning the history of Black and Indigenous people is anti-American. 62% of the information online, research shows, is false disinformation. Half of Americans think all news online is untrue and fake, but an astounding 20% of Americans believe that fabricated, untrue, false disinformation is real. Misrepresentation of self and public disinformation are inextricably linked. Abolishing that cultural dishonesty begins with each one of us. The danger is, unless we check that, we create a culture that is no more real than the lost mythical kingdom of Atlantis beneath the sea. The truth is, you cannot turn a toaster into a bicycle just by saying so. You cannot transform a villain into a hero by changing their name and address. Truth is a dare. Truth or Consequences was a radio show that started in 1940. Perhaps a better statement is not the binary choice of truth or consequences, but the declaration that truth has consequences. When you own your truth, it is an act of singular courage. Give sorrow words, William Shakespeare wrote in Macbeth. The process begins with excavating your personal history, asking yourself difficult questions about memories and events. Preserve the facts in writing. Seek professional help in therapeutic settings. Share your discoveries with loved ones. Of course, your story does not need to bear trauma. What memories of joy and love and tenderness do you never want to forget? For me, it's the first time I held my oldest child's hand, the last time I held my mother's. You don't need to write a book or appear on TV, to reap the consequences. You will feel a sense of wholeness just by acknowledging what is truly there. Truth is a dare. When you lasso and tame the realities of your history, you cannot tolerate the lies of the world. You, owning your truth, preserves the integrity of your humanity. Together, we can cultivate and sustain a world where the expectation of truth is as clear, bold, and reliable as the full rising moon. Go ahead, tell your truth. I dare you.